Welcome to a special video episode of the Duathlon Show, home of all things Run Bike Run. My name is Andrew. I work at a running shoe store, and today we're going to take a look at the new Brooks Adrenaline GTS 25 and compare it to the outgoing 24 model. These are the stability options from Brooks, shoes which provide extra support for runners and walkers who need it. If you pronate or have your ankles tip in during the gait cycle, you may benefit from stability shoes like the Adrenaline. The non-stability counterpart to the Adrenaline in the Brooks lineup is the Ghost, currently on version 17, which was a shoe I found surprisingly soft and superior to the more expensive Glycerin. But enough of that for now. Adrenaline 24 vs 25. First, let's get the boring stats out of the way. The 25 features a stack height of 37mm in the heel, 27mm in the forefoot for a 10mm drop. The 24 has 36mm in the heel and 24mm in the forefoot for a 12mm drop. Both these shoes have a relatively high drop, which can be good if you have Achilles tendinopathy. The higher heel drop theoretically decreases the length the Achilles tendon has to stretch, reducing the load on it and the plantar flexors. On the other hand, higher drop can put more pressure on the forefoot area, which is something to keep in mind if you have sensitivity there. The price for this year's model increased to $155 from $140 on the version 24. Version 25 weighs 10.6 ounces, 300 grams, for the standard reference size US men's 9. Compare that to the weight of the 24 at 10 ounces or 283.5 grams. Getting a visual of the shoes side by side, we can see that the outsole remain mostly the same. Some different sculpting in the outsole rubber, but more or less the same coverage and thickness. Shape-wise, the heel, waist, and forefoot curvatures are nearly identical, but as we'll see later, I do think the 25 is a tad wider in all those areas. We can see the different stylings in the heel collar area for the 24 on the left and the 25 on the right. The 25 has shaved away those butt implants on the outside of the heel and has a heel tab loop for easier on and off. Both shoes have thick, non-gusseted tongues. These daily cruisers do not skimp on the comfort and plush step-in feel. Putting on the 24, the first thing you'll notice is that your toes are squished. If you wear your normal size, this shoe probably won't fit. The 24 is not true to size, and I would recommend going a half size up if you're able to find a pair of these outgoing models. The 12mm drop in the 24 puts it on the higher end of things. I'm not one to dwell on a drop too much. For me, it's probably not in the top 10 factors I consider when buying a running or walking shoe, but I will admit that I actually felt the steepness in this shoe. It took me wearing a low drop shoe on my left and the Adrenaline 24 on my right foot to truly hammer home the difference. I did begin to feel like the Adrenaline 24s were pointing my toes down. Something to consider perhaps if you have sensitivity in the forefoot area. The higher drop can put more pressure there. If you're enjoying this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, then let me know your experiences with Brooks or the Adrenaline line down in the comments. On the other hand, high drop shoes can be good for Achilles tendinopathy. For many people, low drop shoes load the lower leg, calves, Achilles, and ankles more, and high drop loads the higher leg, knee, hip, etc. more. Now for the really important part, the ride. What's the 24 feel like? The adjective I came up with was slab-like. Walking or running felt like moving around two lifeless slabs of foam. Not much bounce or cush or roll, which are sensations I look for in a runner or walker. The shoe slaps down as you progress through the gait cycle. It's not my favorite ride of all time. The stability elements of the midsole, including the guide rail on the medial side, are there and can be felt, but mainly stick out when you're wearing the 24 on one foot and a non-stability running shoe on the other. If you've been wearing stability shoes without being aware of it, you can absolutely wear the 24 and feel completely normal. Or if you've worn out your last pair of neutral walkers and pick up a pair of 24s, they'll feel different, but you won't think, these feel like stability shoes. You'll think, these feel like my Brooks Adrenaline 24s. This is all to say that the stability elements in the foam are not overwhelming or suffocating in any way. I think the ride is simply lifeless of its own accord. In the pro column, these are solidly built shoes. Brooks never misses there. To me, this colorway perfectly represents the contemporary dad shoe vibe, updated with modern materials and sensibilities. but also frat bro vibes. Can't you picture some Bama frat guy named Chad and his buddies all wearing this shoe to the tailgate party? Moving on to the new shoe, the Adrenaline 25. This shoe features guide rails on the inside and outside of the midsole for medial and lateral support. Quoting the Brooks website, "The system is made of two firm pieces of foam on either side of the heel. On the inside of the heel, the foam reduces the rolling of the foot inward. On the outside of the heel, the foam is both firmer and higher, reducing the shifting of the heel in the outward direction." End quote. I'd say the medial or inside guide rail is the more prominent of the two. This medial guide rail works to combat overpronation. In a key update, Brooks has reinvented their midsole for the 25. The midsole here is a one-piece foam mold, meaning the guide rails are integrated into the foam structure, not separate foam slabs cemented together as was the case in the 24. Brooks doesn't market the Adrenaline 25 as having a DNA-tuned midsole, which is featured on the Glycerin and Glycerin Max models, but I feel like the foam in this shoe has benefited from the tech advances used in the new tuned midsoles. DNA-tuned is a nitrogen-infused dual-density midsole with larger foam cells for softness and smaller cells for bounce. For me, this change revolutionizes the Adrenaline model. The ride of the 25 is far from the slab-like feeling of the 24. This shoe is soft with a nice roll or rocking sensation while walking or standing. And when you start to run, the softness and rocker remains and is joined by a satisfying bounce. That's got to be down to the fact that this midsole is a single wedge of foam for the first time, no glue involved. Standing still and digging your toes down, you'll find more sock liner softness and comfort in the 25 versus the 24, and the 25 now runs true to size, which is satisfying. An 11.5 in the 24 and my normal size 11 in the 25 felt the same, with the same fit and lockdown sensation. Doing a little left-right shoe comparison here, we can see that the foam emerges visibly underfoot past the silhouette of the upper on the 25. It does not do this on the 24. Brooks has given us a slightly wider platform here, which should help with stability. To conclude affairs, I'll say that both walkers and runners will find more to like in the Brooks Adrenaline 25 versus the 24. The new shoe runs true to size and it's softer and bouncier. Buying the 24 only makes sense if you can find one on a significant discount. But the ride is so different between the two shoes that we really ought to consider them as different shoes entirely. If you enjoyed this content, and I hope you did because you stuck around to the end of the video, please leave a like and a comment, and of course make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Engaging with the video via likes and comments helps get the word out to others like you who might enjoy videos like this. After that, be sure to check out The Duathlon Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine pods are casted. Thank you for watching. Happy running or happy walking.